So it appears there's some more news coming out of the band of PlayStation having to do with the Days Gone director, feeling that if you love a game, you need to spend full price on it. In other words, even if you haven't played it, touched it, if you love it, because, you can automatically love games without playing them. I mean, in some cases you can, depending on the game, depending on whether or not you watch the walkthrough. What am I talking about? Well, let me show you this article. So, like I just said, Days Gone director says if you love a game, buy it at full price. Don't complain if a game doesn't get a sequel if it wasn't supported at launch. Which, I don't know, I think it was pretty well supported, because I think it sold pretty well. Granted, maybe not the most amount of copies of any Sony game ever, but certainly a pretty good amount considering there is demand for a sequel. Days Gone creative director and writer John Garvin said that if you love a game and want a sequel, you should buy it at fucking full price. As reported by VGC, Garvin was a guest on God of War creators David Jeff's YouTube show and discussed many topics regarding Days Gone and his time in the video game industry. His appearance also arrives a bit over week after Bloomberg's report of an unsuccessful Days Gone 2 pitch from Bend Studio. Garvin, who's no longer with Sony Bend, was asked if he had heard if Days Gone was being added to PlayStation Plus collection on PS5, caused a meaningful uptick of engagement with the game. I do have an opinion on something that your audience may find of interest, and it might piss some of them off, Garvin replied. If you love a game, buy it at fucking full price. I can't tell you how many times I've seen gamers say, yeah, I got that in sale, I got it through PlayStation Plus, whatever. Which, I mean, how dare someone want to get a game through PlayStation Plus or through a sale because maybe they prefer buying games during a sale where they can save a bunch of money by buying a bunch of games all at once on a discount as opposed to spending the full price at launch. How dare they prefer to do what they want to do with their money? You're not allowed to do it, okay? If you love something, spend the full price. No more, maybe, actually no, much more, no less. No other options are allowed. This is gaming now. Spend the $70. Or, if you're broke, well, hey, that's your fault, If you don't have the money to afford a game because you're going through financial stress or whatever, well, clearly you just don't love the game enough to be able to afford it, so therefore you don't deserve it. So, as far as I'm concerned, Days Gone 2 not happening is our fault. The gamers back at it again as usual. Sigh. Jaff responded by asking Garvin, how are you supposed to know if you love a game until you played it? Which, common sense. I'm just saying, you don't, but don't complain if a game doesn't get a sequel if it wasn't supported at launch, which, again, I think it was pretty well supported, but okay. Garvin replied, it's like, God of War got whatever number of millions of sales at launch, and, Days Gone didn't. Well, considering one is based on an already existing popular franchise, while the other is a brand new zombie-based IP released in a point in time where the genre is saturated enough as is. Gee, I don't know. Why would God of War do better than Days Gone? I have no idea. Anyways, I'm just speaking for me personally as a developer. I don't work for Sony. I don't know what the numbers are. Garvin continued to explain his reasoning by explaining a piracy situation that occurred during his time working on PSP's Siphon Filter Dark Mirror. I can tell you that when we were doing Siphon Filter Dark Mirror on PSP, we got so fucked on Dark Mirror because piracy was a thing, and Sony wasn't really caught up in what piracy was doing to sales, Garvin said. Well, funnily enough, after all these years, piracy is pretty much the only way you're going to be able to access a lot of these older PSP games, along with PS3 and PS Vita, so really it's more of a good thing at this point for the fact that it's the only thing you can do unless you decide to play through those games right now, until they're gone in a few months. And we would show them Turns. The Turns site had 200,000 copies of Dark Mirror being downloaded. If I remember it right, the numbers could be wrong, but regardless, I was pissed about it then. I was like, this is money out of my pocket. So I think the uptick in engagement with the game is not as important as did you buy the game at full price, because if you did, then that's supporting the developers directly. Garvin's interview followed Days Gone 2 game director Jeff Ross's talk with Jaffe from last week, where they discussed how Days Gone 2 was originally pitched with a co-op mode in a shared universe. Shared universe, so something like a cinematic universe like Marvel, or like online multiplayer shared universe. I mean, it could be either or at this point. But anyways, although reports indicate that we may not be seeing Days Gone 2 anytime soon, PC players will finally be able to try Days Gone on May 18th, 2021, I meant to say. God, what is wrong with me? With 21:9 ultra-wide monitor support and a locked frame rate and more. So yeah, if you love a game, then you have to buy it at full price. You have to. There's no choice in the matter. Okay, so what if you haven't touched it, okay? I can't give an explanation, but, you know, if you don't support it, how's it going to get a sequel? Which, that's such a black and white way of looking at things. Like, it's not as straightforward as that. Like, look at Sony Metacritic scores of their games. Compare something like Last of Us 2 or God of War to Days Gone. They want those HBO series in the form of games, which you can sit there and watch the cutscene for like 10 minutes while not having to pick up the controller. They're going down the HBO / Kojima route. Okay, those are two different things, but we're going to consider them one thing in this regard. So yeah, they don't care about anything but more of Neil Druckmann experiences, which, guys, I've already said this before. I've already said this so many times. Not everything needs to be a Neil experience. It can be a Days Gone experience. Why not? You know, again, I'm not shocked that it was rejected. To be perfectly honest, I've already said that before. But at the same time, I've already also said this. The fact that they're not even allowing a sequel to be made at all definitely says volumes. It speaks volumes about where Sony is right now. And yeah, you know, just corporate greed. This is just, man, this dude, like, I get his frustration, but the way he's going about it just comes off as arrogant. Like, dude, people aren't obligated to buy a game at full price. They aren't even obligated to buy a game at all. Be thankful that anyone bought it. Okay, people don't have to spend their money on your game. They can spend it elsewhere. It's their choice. And if they happen to buy it, and they happen to love it, cool. At the end of the day, all it comes down to is, does the consumer give a shit? Yes or no? And if they happen to, great. If not, so be it. But the fact that Sony's not allowing them to try again is definitely bullshit. Like, at least give them a shot. At least one more chance. Why not? But yeah, there you go. Just, some more news and information going on in the Sonyverse, in the gaming side of things, whereas there's plenty of things going on in the movie side of things as well. There's just things going on everywhere when it comes to Sony at the moment. For better or for worse. In this case, for worse. So yeah, there you go. Just another news video. And yeah, that's gonna be it. Make sure to leave a like, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications and set it to all notifications. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and I'll see y'all next time. But until then, I'm out. Later. Also, leave your thoughts in the comment section. Yeah. Later.